The Tale of Peter Rabbit by Beatrix Potter is a beloved children's classic that tells the story of a mischievous young rabbit named Peter and his adventures in Mr. McGregor's garden. The story, filled with charming illustrations and simple yet engaging prose, explores themes of curiosity, mischief, consequences, and the comforting safety of home. The story begins with Mrs. Rabbit, the mother of Peter and his three siblings, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, warning them not to go into Mr. McGregor's garden. She reminds them of what happened to their father, who was caught and made into a pie by the farmer. Instead, Mrs. Rabbit suggests they go down the lane or into the fields to play. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, being obedient children, follow their mother's advice and go off to gather blackberries. Peter, however, is a curious and mischievous little rabbit, and he decides to disobey his mother's orders. Peter sneaks into Mr. McGregor's garden through a small hole in the gate. At first, he is delighted by the feast of vegetables he finds there. He greedily eats some lettuce, French beans, and radishes. However, Peter's gluttony and disobedience soon get him into trouble. As he explores further into the garden, he is spotted by Mr. McGregor, who immediately recognizes him as one of the rabbits that have been stealing his crops. In a panic, Peter tries to escape, but he soon finds himself lost in the vast garden, unable to find his way back to the gate. His little blue jacket gets caught on a gooseberry net, and Peter struggles to free himself as Mr. McGregor comes closer. Finally, after much wriggling, Peter manages to slip out of his jacket and escape. He runs through the garden, but his anxiety and fear only increase as he is chased by Mr. McGregor, who is determined to catch the little thief. Peter narrowly escapes being caught several times, hiding in various parts of the garden, including a watering can in a shed. His heart races as Mr. McGregor gets closer and closer, but Peter is a clever and resourceful rabbit. Despite his terror, Peter manages to evade the farmer's clutches by squeezing under a gate and escaping back into the woods, leaving behind his jacket and shoes. Tired, scared, and hungry, Peter finally makes his way back home. When Peter returns to the safety of his mother's home, he is exhausted and feeling quite ill from his frightening experience and from eating too many vegetables. Mrs. Rabbit takes care of him, putting him to bed with a dose of chamomile tea to soothe his upset stomach. Meanwhile, his well-behaved siblings, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, enjoy a supper of bread, milk, and blackberries, as they had obeyed their mother's instructions. Peter's disobedience and the consequences he faces teach young readers about the importance of listening to parents and following rules, but it does so in a gentle, humorous way. Despite his mischievous nature, Peter is a character that children can easily relate to, and his adventure in the garden is thrilling but ultimately safe, as he returns home to his loving mother. The tale ends with Peter learning his lesson, at least for the moment, and settling down to recover from his day's mischief. The story is a simple, yet timeless lesson about curiosity, bravery, and the consequences of disobedience, wrapped in a charming and beautifully illustrated package that has delighted generations of readers. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for other interesting book summaries to spice up your reading list.